Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special Anime-Zing radio on a Tuesday night. We're going to have some fun tonight, just talking about some underrated animes. Some of the shows that we feel don't get the love they deserve. And we're excited tonight. Of course, we have our great co-host, Mr. Darren Starling, joining us as always.
Yellow.
Special guest of the evening, Kayci Foxx, is here to talk about some of her favorite underrated animes.
Hi.
And she's also one of our awesome sponsors. If you're looking for any art commissions, cosplay commissions, photography needs in the Northeast area, be sure to check out Kayci Foxx on Facebook and Instagram. That's KAYCIFOXX. We're also brought to you tonight by HomecircleMedia.com for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out HomecircleMedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Darren.
Hello.
Our third sponsor is Buzz. This was your time to promote your landscaping business.
Tonight's also sponsored by Triple S Lawn Care. If you're in the Triangle area, come see me if you need any kind of lawn care, landscaping, or any kind of maintenance work done. That includes mowing, trimming, leaf removal, bed installs, and most recently, project of the day, retaining walls. But no, don't call me about retaining walls.
Instead, call them to pull your weeds.
That or call me to trim shrubs or hedges.
And without further ado, we're going to get into the topic of the night. Of course, that is underrated animes. What is it that makes some of our favorite shows that nobody else seems to watch or know about? You know, that's always been a question of why do some shows get huge? Like, how did Attack on Titan and My Hero Academia and Fairy Tail and shows like that become huge where other really, really good shows kind of got swept under the radar? Is it the timing that they came out? I mean, there are some fantastic shows out there, and one that we always like to touch on is Smile Down the Runway, because I know, Kayci, you and I watched that, and that was a fantastic show.
Yeah, I had you watch that. You weren't even sure on that. You're like, that doesn't really sound up my alley. I don't know if I'll like that or not.
Yeah, and I said that many a times, that I was going to pass on it thinking it was like an America's Next Top Model type nonsense show. But no, this show was awesome. And I know Darren hasn't seen that one yet. And
yes, shame on me.
I know. We've had many of our voice acting guests yell at him for that too. But, you know, I know recently Darren and I had done a top 10 favorite underrated animes. And Kayci, you weren't able to join us for that show, but what are some of your favorite shows that have flown under the radar?
I think The Ancient Magus Bride definitely didn't get as much love as it should have.
And I know we try to do our part here on the show to promote a lot of these shows that we watch. And Ancient Magus' Bride was a fantastic show. And I don't know why it didn't get more love than it got. It is getting another season or a spinoff season.
No, it's not another season.
It's a spinoff.
Not a season 2 yet. It's like a spinoff thing.
But
I think it's like OVA type things.
Nothing wrong with that, though. It just means more Chisei and Elias.
Pretty much. I'm happy there's at least some more content coming out.
Which means we'll get to hear more Danny Chambers as Chisei.
Well, if they choose to actually English dub it.
Hopefully they do. because I thought Danny did a fantastic job. That's how I discovered her work was through Chise. And what are some of the other? What's another show that you enjoyed that you found to be underrated by many people? A lot of people may not know.
Kokurio Bed and Breakfast for Spirits.
That was a good one too. We actually cosplayed from that one.
We did, but I feel like that one didn't get talked about at all.
I was truly surprised that we saw another Ginji at Anime Boston that year.
Was that 2019? Because that was the last Anime Boston we went to before COVID shut everything down.
Yeah. And that too was a good one. What was some of the stuff you enjoyed about Kakario?
Anything involving yokai. If it's an anime that involves yokai, it's usually on my top.
And with the, Kakario had an interesting story of, a girl that can, see spirits and ended up kind of sort of getting kidnapped into the spirit realm because of her grandfather.
No, but I feel like that needs a second season, though. Like, I feel like there could be more.
Oh, definitely. Darren, what? I know that you're unmuted for a moment. What's one of the shows that you feel has been pretty underrated?
Well, it got a lot of hype back when it first released, but unfortunately never enough to get a second season out of it. That was definitely Problem Children, because it had a great thing going for it, and it just kind of died. And you talk about it nowadays, and a lot of people really don't know who you're talking about. They'll recognize Izuyoi just because of the guy wearing the headphones, or they'll recognize Black Rabbit, but that's really about it, and they barely recognize them.
That's true. Although, if I remember correctly, I think there was, I think it was Bakuretsu-kan one year, Kayci, that we did a makeshift cosplay panel, and one of the options of characters that you could have chosen from was Black Rabbit.
I think I remember that. I think it was like 2014. That was a while ago.
It was a while ago. I remember it because I was one that had to wear the outfit that you made.
Well, the show itself released back in 2011, so a lot of people really don't know about it nowadays.
A lot of shows from back then have really fly under the radar. And there was a lot of good shows that came out in the early 2010s that was really, really good, that because of the hype of shows like Sword Art Online and My Hero and all these big shows that, get all the focus. I feel bad for some of like the new shows that come out, the original ideas. They're so few and far between now to see original ideas come out that isn't an isekai cookie cutter show, or a season 2, 3, 4, 25, whatever of existing shows. Some of these newer shows just get like Jahi. That's a really good anime. Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody talk about that one.
Pretty much, even though it's basically a carbon copy ripoff to an extent of The Devil is a Part-Timer.
Oh, is it?
Kind of.
Theoretically, because it's got the same premise. Demon Lord coming from another world ended up in a mundane, ordinary job just trying to survive, and living in the most rundown apartment you can think of with the hero on their case.
So it's the same thing, just hot girl instead.
Pretty much. Hot girl transforms into Lolly when she loses her power. As Gigik says, "Oh my god, a waifu. Oh wait, she's a Lolly."
Both.
And I'm trying to think of what some of the other shows that have come out recently that have gotten like no love.
After Lost in Space was one of my personal favorites.
Like how recent are we talking?
I mean, even like Zombieland Saga just had their second season come out, and I've really not heard anybody talk about that. Season 1 got, it got more publicity because of the theatrical Truck-kun in the first episode. But you really didn't hear much about it after that.
Yeah, but I saw quite a few cosplays from it, at least, for a while.
And I think I've only ever seen one cosplay from Familiar Zero. We did see a Luis at Anime Boston one year. So it's, and that was a fantastic one. Granted, it's older, and not a lot of people may remember it, but it's definitely a show I wish that they would dub more of it.
That's another thing. How do they figure out what they're going to dub and what they don't?
I would say popularity, and also it depends on the company itself. But generally, they go for whatever's going to be the more popular show, and then the leftovers go to whoever wants them. Because from what one of my friends told me when he was actually in the business, even though he wasn't actually one of the people selecting the shows, he said that there were basically a bidding war on some of the shows.
I would believe that, and I've seen reports where some of these companies, some of the dubbing companies, are paying upwards of $1 million per episode to have the right to air it. So you could see Funimation, Crunchyroll, Netflix, Sentai paying quarter, half, even $1 million per episode. So imagine that if you have a show like My Hero. If they're paying even $500,000 an episode for the rights to dub and produce the English dub of that's quite a bit of money that they've dumped into that franchise.
Mm-hmm. And basically what he told me is they have their money set aside for some of the bigger name shows that they want, and then basically whatever else they get is kind of leftovers.
And then you always have those mistakes like interspecies reviewers.
I still wish that got dubbed fully.
That's another underrated anime. That was hysterical. I understand the controversy behind it when they took the anime and made it a lot worse than what the light novel material was.
Which is normally the other way around.
But it was still very entertaining. I'm still very thankful that they completed the series in Japan for at least that first season. I would go for a second season. Could have done without the egg-laying episode, but
But yet you were okay with Poppy laying an egg.
Well, that wasn't as glorified as interspecies reviewers.
Very true. It also wasn't as open and crowded, and I see what you mean. Yeah.
I view the two of those situations as, yes, it's a harpy laying an egg. And, if it was the waitress chick from the bar there, if it was just her laying the egg with some of the scenes they showed there, I probably wouldn't have been as disgusted as I was where they had an auction for these eggs that they're watching them hatch an egg or birth an egg, and then people are bidding on them.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, that was coming from Darren. I think he had us on speaker.
Oh, that sounds really wonky.
Of course, because, well, my house is very empty, remember? I ain't got really anything in here, and everything's hardwood.
which means he needs to otaku out his house as quick as possible.
Pretty much.
That just means he's got more room for Dakimakras.
I was just gonna say that.
At this point, I'd take more wall scrolls. I just don't want to put holes in my walls just yet.
We'll get some of the double-sided
Velcro.
no, not the what do they call that stuff?
The Velcro sticky backing stuff. That's what we have our wall scrolls held up with.
True.
That way you're not putting a hole in the wall. You just have the sticky stuff. You just peel them right off.
Sticky stuff, and you're talking about interspecies reviewers. How dare you?
Peel it right off.
You can just peel it right off. It's like angel mayo, you know?
You know, there's a show I'm surprised, Doug, that you didn't mention right off the bat.
What's that?
Kuma 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 Bear.
That's true. That one was real. You and I both enjoyed that one.
But I didn't hear anybody talk about it whatsoever.
No. And I fanboyed hard after that came out, and we had Marissa on the show. I almost felt embarrassed. I was like, I'm so sorry, but I'm fanboying hard. I think I even said it on the air. But she did a great job as Yuna, and I think she said that was her first lead role.
I don't remember. It might have been.
She's done a lot of supporting roles and like sub-lead roles, but not like the main character.
There's a lot of shows too that just don't get talked about much, and then you go looking on like Funimation or whatnot, and it's like, oh, what's this show?
There was one point I had so much time on my hands. I was literally going through all the shows Funimation had listed on their website and in their app, and trying to watch all of them. And I think I got through 80% of them before I finally was no longer able to keep up.
And now they put out, was it 10 different shows a season? So they're putting out like between 40 and 50 shows a year.
At least.
Because no, I remember, I think it was Anthony Bowling, one of the episodes he was on, talking about Funimation had 6 studios at their old building pre-COVID. And they would have a morning session and an evening session for recording. So they could record 12 shows a week out of those studios. And if you figure 12 times, so yeah, 48, it could be a potential 48 different animes coming out a year through Funimation being dubbed. Obviously pre-COVID, and then what was it, Darren? You and I sat down one night talking about how many different animes came out from year to year, and we were seeing like 110, 115, 120.
And a lot of times that was just the English ones. That wasn't including the ones released in Japan and stayed in Japan. Like, on average, Japan puts out anywhere between 30 to upwards of 50 shows per season.
Which is crazy when you think about it. I mean, we only have, in the U.S., we have, what, like 5 companies that do dubbing?
Let's see. Funimation has acquired Crunchyroll. So you got Funimation, you got Viz Media, you got Sentai, and then who else you got?
Netflix is producing their own stuff.
Uh-huh.
And Bang Zoom is recording for some of their own and with other companies.
Aniplex?
Oh, yeah, and Aniplex has their own, too. Even though Aniplex and Funimation are kind of... Because Sony now owns pretty much everyone except Sentai and Viz Media.
They're trying for a monopoly. They want to wear a top hat and have a mustache.
And a monocle.
And a monocle.
So, but I hope Sentai stays independent.
So do I. You need to have something to break up the monotony where, Sony owning Crunchyroll and Funimation and, so much stuff.
Yep.
The only, I guess one of the good sides is, Sony has a ton of money. So they are not afraid to put money into anime, especially knowing how fast it's growing.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's a good thing because that means we're going to keep getting more and more shows from Japan to get dubbed for the people who watch dubs like we do. Kayci and I both, we watch both dubbed and subbed, but I watch a lot of dubbed anime, as I've said before, for research to find, voice actors for the show. Sometimes it's just easier to watch a show in English if you're preoccupied with other things, either watching kids or whatnot. Sometimes you just get impatient if you're watching a simuldub and you're like, screw this, I want to finish this off, and we watch it in Japanese.
That was me with Tokyo Revengers recently.
And what did I do that with? I just did that with one. The isekai where the guy, how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom.
Okay.
I was like, 6 episodes of English. It felt like 2 weeks had passed and they hadn't dropped the next one. I'm like, screw it, I'm finishing this.
Yeah, I think most of what I'm watching right now is actually subbed.
Yay.
And,
speaking of which, Realist Hero really hasn't been getting a whole lot of talk this season either.
It really hasn't, and it was really good. I was surprised how good it was. I mean, I went into it with the frame of mind of another isekai. Let's see what happens. How much of a cookie cutter show is this? See some of the same, they have the anthropomorphic characters, the cute fox girl or whatever I don't remember what she was. They had, and I was like, some of these characters are adorable. Let's check it out. This could be interesting to see how somebody's summoned to another world. Then decides, is made king. The acting king steps down and says, okay, you are now ruler of this land.
Instead of being Sora and Shiro and basically taking the place over.
And then he sits down and he's like, all right, I want to see all the finances. I want to see everything that's going on. First, let's take care of the food shortage here. So instead of being overpowered with magic and combat and, instead of being a cautious hero, Seiya, or, some of these other cookie cutter overpowered main characters. Oh, Jesus.
Oh. That was something.
So instead of being one of these super overpowered characters, even though Bofuri technically isn't an isekai because, she goes back and forth, she's just into a video game world. I forgot where I was going. I got sidetracked by things going bing. I don't. What?
Are you okay?
You're sending messages up, and I'm like trying to read what's going on. I'm like, what? Where is all this coming from?
Oh, you look like your brain just broke.
It did.
Oh no.
Yeah, typical me. There we go. Now if we another underrated show. Talking about underrated shows, character joining us tonight is Asuna from Negima. That's a show you don't hear anybody talk about. I know Darren hasn't seen it. Kayci got through like part of an episode in English and was like, I just can't stand Negi's voice.
No, I might have to watch that one in Japanese and see if I can get through it.
For that, we're going to turn her this way, and she's going to throw her bag at Kayci Foxx now.
Are you having fun?
I am.
And Negima came out in 2006, so that's a little bit older.
That show is 15 years old. Holy crap.
Wow.
And there's 2 versions of Negima. I did watch both. the first version of Negima that had come out, if I remember correctly. And spoiler alert on there, Asuna is the main female character. And it's not often that you see a show where the main character dies. Like the show is centered around her, and in the original Negima, she dies in there. And they have to try to figure out how to bring her back using magic and things like that. Which it caught me off guard because at the time, I was watching all these animes where, you see the main character get into trouble, but they always come out of it. I wasn't expecting her to die in the in that technically first season, and then they rewrote the story and it came out with a second Negima. And then there was a whole bunch of OVAs and stuff that followed after that. And I think Negi might be the youngest male character in anime to have a harem.
Yeah, he's like 10.
He's like 10, and he had a class of 26 girls who all wanted him.
Jesus.
And he kissed all of them to make a pact. I mean, how can you get any more anime than that? What other show, Darren, do you think would you put in the extremely underrated?
Let's see. I said Astro Lost in Space earlier. I'm trying to think of one I haven't really talked about. Here's one, and I know I brought it up on my list, but I'm gonna bring it up again. Dream Eater Mary.
That's one I haven't even heard. I know you brought it up on your list, but I had never heard of that before you mentioned it.
Oh, that character's cute.
Basically, she's from the dream world and is trying to find her way back. And whilst in the dream world, you have some overpowered villains, yada, yada, yada. And it's actually a very interesting series.
I agree. The character is adorable. I don't know why I haven't seen like more, even memes of this character.
Probably because of how old the show is.
Like I'm looking at some of the pictures of the show from the show. It's like the character looks adorable. Almost has a Soul Eater feel to the artwork.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I don't see that. But the character's cute, though.
Okay, it was 2011, so it's not as old as what I thought it was.
10 years old. Is that on Crunchyroll?
I'm not sure.
Nope, that would be a High Dive title because it's licensed by Sentai.
Oh, Sentai. Whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
But
I own the series, so.
And I sent you a picture where I look at it and I almost get like a Blair feel from Mary. And it might just be the picture.
And they do have it on High Dive.
But we wanted to keep a shorter show tonight. Just a quick little thing. We wanted to keep putting some more content up here on our YouTube channel. If you enjoyed us talking about some of our favorite underrated shows, let us know in the comments. Be sure to if you're new here, click that subscribe button. Help us get to 200 subscribers before the end of the year. Once we hit that mark, we want to do a giveaway where one of you, our lucky fans, gets to come in, sit in the co-host seat for a future voice actor interview. I want to thank Darren and Kayci for joining me tonight, where we are all talking about some of our favorite underrated shows. And if you want to see us do more special shows like this, give us topics. If you want to see more shows like what we did last week with our 18 plus Smash or Trash show, we want to do more of those, but we want to make sure that you, our fans, want to see that. We had a blast doing it. I've got ideas about maybe doing it on the main show on Sunday night, maybe as a special edition thing with, see if we can get a voice actor on or something like that. Maybe we can get Julia back on because Lord knows anything could happen with that girl. Maybe we can have Jeremy come back on and we can fool him with another trap. Dude, that was, I have to say, that was priceless when Kayci dropped Felix on him.
Next time, drop Gasper on.
I will.
But until Sunday night, when we have an awesome show scheduled, we are doing a Dragon Maid special with special guest Christy Rothrock, the voice of Ilulu, is going to be joining us. We may have other people pop in as surprises. You never know what's going to happen here on Anime-Zing Radio. Until Sunday night, when we welcome Christy to the show, and we talk about Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Miss Kobayashi, the tomboy that everybody wants to smash and doesn't realize it. Until then, I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Keep watching those shows. Like these videos. Watch the rest of the stuff we got on. We will be at AAC coming up in a couple of weeks, looking to get some content from there. Maybe live. Who knows? It's going to be a lot of fun. Until Sunday, like I said, have a great week, and we'll see you then.